Yo, what is up guys? It is Bumfris, back with some r/AmITheAhole. This episode is gonna be a banger and I know you're gonna love this one. If we can hit 1,000 likes on this video by this time tomorrow's episode will be extra special and extra long. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Then once you've liked the video, all you need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy some AmITheAhole. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife it's embarrassing that she gave our daughter's bus driver cookies? First, some important details. My wife is very shy, but enjoys giving and is all gung-ho about showing appreciation to workers that she assumes aren't appreciated or recognized. She tries to pass these beliefs onto our kids. Because she's too silent to show her appreciation, she does it through gifts, usually baked goods, and I've been embarrassed about it in the past. Recently, our oldest child rode the school bus for the first time, and my wife was waiting at the stop with our daughter and had her hand the bus driver a bag of homemade cookies. Then in the afternoon when she picked her up from the bus stop, she gave a bag to her for the afternoon driver as well. I asked her why she did that when she could have easily just said thank you and left it at that. She said that the bus drivers work so hard having to comfort all the nervous kids and handling the unbehaved ones while driving that they deserve more than a thanks. I reminded her that this has embarrassed me in the past and that I think her behaviors are too extreme. I know that I wouldn't want gifts from someone I don't know. She completely ignored how I felt. I contacted some people in my life to see if I was just the crazy one here, and most of my friends and my mum agree. My wife's way of showing thanks just makes everyone uncomfortable. Am I the a-hole? Oh boy, this is some way to start today's episode of AmITheA, because this bloke, well, there's no other way to say it, but yes, you are probably one of the biggest a-holes that I've come across in this sub. Not only are you the a-hole in this situation, but you sound like a terrible husband who loves to put his partner down and is unsupportive of her being a genuinely nice person. The OP's wife probably made those bus drivers' days just over a small show of appreciation. But it seems like the only person the OP cares about is himself, and he couldn't care less about the feelings of other people. The OP seriously needs to get a grip and have a long hard look at himself before his wife realizes how poorly he treats her. Am I the a-hole for not showing up for a dinner with my sister when I found out she was planning to set me up? I, a 34-year-old male, am a single dad of two amazing kids. My 18-year-old son and my 14-year-old daughter. 14 years ago, my fiance and the mother of my children died suddenly and it destroyed me. She was everything. We were supposed to grow old together, raise our babies together, and share a life. She was my best friend for 15 years and my love for 6. After she died, my family expected me to date again, find love again, marry someone, and find another mother for my kids. But I have never had any interest in meeting someone else. I focus on being a good dad and enjoying my life the best that I can. But I never wanted to move on, and I don't feel like that's something that will ever happen for me. About 2 years after my fiance died though, my sister started getting pushier. She told me I needed to find someone who could make me happy, that I deserved better than staying single for the rest of my life. I told her it's my choice, and if that's what feels right to me, then that's what I'll do. For the most part, she lets it go once I say no, but she brings it up often enough that it has started to affect our closeness. 2 years ago, we stopped talking for months after she brought my kids into this plot to set me up and was disappointed that they didn't want to take part in it. When I found out, I was furious, and I thought that was the last of it when we reconciled because she saw I was willing to not speak to her and her apology was the most genuine it had ever been. Then last week she told me that she wanted to hang out. We were supposed to go to dinner in her favorite place, but a few days before, I found out that she was actually trying to set me up with this woman that she knows. Once I found out, I just refused to show up. That dinner was Thursday, and yesterday she was furious that I hadn't shown, and she said they had been waiting for me. I asked her who they was, and she said that she'd brought someone along for me to meet. I told her that I no longer trust her after this. My parents sent me a message last night saying that it was rude to be a no-show, and I should understand that they just worry that I'm putting my life on hold and denying myself happiness. Am I the a-hole? I think more than anything, the parents and the sister in this story are just meddling in the OP's life way too much. At the end of the day, he's a 34-year-old and he's made the decision that he's not ready to get back out there and look for somebody else to get married to. And while that may not be their personal preference for him, he's probably done a pretty good job raising his kids thus far, especially considering he's been doing it on his own for the last 14 years. If he wants to stay single and just focus on being a good dad, just let him do that. Stop meddling where you have no business meddling and just let him do his own thing. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my father the house that my grandmother left me? First, some important context. My father left me when I was 10. I came home from school one day and he was gone and I was alone. My grandmother eventually took me in, but that moment gave me issues that I'm still working through. My grandmother passed away and was buried a couple of weeks ago. I saw my father for the first time in 14 years at his mother's funeral. After the will was read, we learnt that my grandmother had left me her property. My father was furious and apparently he feels that he has more rights to her property than I do because she was his mother. He's been harassing me to hand over the property to him and promising that when he passes away, I can have it. I don't want to give him the property because if my grandmother wanted him to have it, then she would have put it in her will. My father has been going around telling the family that I stole his mother's property right from under him and I'm trying to punish him for leaving me. My family have been reaching out to me to tell me that even if he abandoned me, that I shouldn't forget the importance of filial piety and how being good to my father, even if he isn't good to me, is what makes a good daughter. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but the comments and the suggestions are beginning to wear me down. Am I that a-hole? I definitely reckon I'm going to go with the general consensus on this one and say that the OP is definitely not the a-hole. At the end of the day, the decision to leave the house to the OP was solely up to the grandmother and had nothing to do with either the OP or the father. Like the OP said, if her grandmother wanted to leave the house to her son, then she would have done exactly that. It sounds like the OP's dad is just salty that he missed out on this house, which, let's be realistic, he was probably going to sell and not retain to pass down to the OP like he said he would. The OP doesn't owe her father anything, and especially not a house. Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother-in-law out of my house for asking this question in front of my friends? My 31-year-old female brother-in-law Tim, male 30, lost his wife 8 months ago. To be honest, we aren't even close. We've never been close due to his brutal honesty and his hurtful remarks towards me all the time. He stopped paying rent for his former apartment because he doesn't work and asked to move in with me and my husband. I had reasons to say no. One of them is that I'm taking care of my 5-month-old son. It's hard, but with Tim's constant requests like cooking for him, cleaning his room and fixing stuff for him, it's 10 times harder. I tried to be graceful and suck it up, but he's becoming annoying, constantly commenting on my weight and saying things like, "Are you comfortable looking like that?" or "Wow, you've changed so much since you had the baby." It's annoying, but my husband asked me to let it go since Tim is grieving and isn't thinking rationally. Yesterday was the final straw. I had my best friends over for the first time after my son was born. We were in the living room chatting while Tim was asleep. Side note, he sleeps until 4 PM. He showed up later and sat with us and started taking part in the conversation. We were talking about being busy all day and he interrupted me and asked, "So when are you planning on losing that baby weight? I guess you should take advantage of that last month of summer and get into shape before it's too late." I was in shock and dismay and embarrassed by my friends going radio silent like that. He doubled down by looking at me and waiting for an answer. Actually, I'm not planning on losing any baby weight anytime soon, unfortunately. But I am, however, planning on losing some dead weight that is you and your never-ending demands all day, every day while I'm trying to care for my newborn. He told me to chill, but I got up from the couch and said that I couldn't put up with this anymore and he had to pack up and leave. He didn't think I was serious, but then headed upstairs and called his brother. My husband came home after my friends left and called me ridiculous for kicking his grieving brother out over a question he asked. I said that he embarrassed me in front of my friends and that I was done catering to his demands, from cooking, cleaning while trying to care for my infant with no sleep nor self-care for myself, and this is how he treats me. He agreed, but said that kicking Tim out would be cruel, nuclear, and unnecessary since we can work this out differently. I refused to discuss it and said that he had to go. I gave him 2 days to find a place to stay, and my husband is convincing me that I was making a mistake and should have some empathy towards Tim and his situation as a new widower, besides that it's my husband's home too, so I can't make this decision alone. Did I overreact here? I definitely don't think that the OP is an a-hole in this situation, and the constant rude and derogatory comments towards the OP from someone who is in their house as a guest, and someone that should be grateful towards his brother and the OP for letting him in a tough time, would alone be enough for me to say that he had to go. While I understand he's going through a tough time in his life, that doesn't give him an excuse to be rude, especially towards the people that have taken him in and are willing to help him. I think realistically, the OP dealt with more than she should have, and this final straw was definitely enough to say that it was time to go. Am I the a-hole for cancelling movie night with my boyfriend after what he did? I'm a movie lover and I love watching TV shows and movies like Star Trek, The Greatest Showman, Star Wars, etc. and I have a ton of favorite actors like Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert De Niro and Keanu Reeves. I even have rituals for when I watch movies, especially new ones. My boyfriend Andy and I have movie nights every Thursday, and we've been together for 9 months. By the way, we don't live together. He has a habit of Googling spoilers when we're watching a movie for the first time. It may not be a big deal, but I hate it. I hate when he does it, as it ruins the mood, the excitement of the movie, and so far he's ruined over 14 what would have been great watching experiences. He did it again, and afterwards I had a talk with him about it. He says he just can't help it, but I say that I can't let him ruin the one thing that I'm so madly interested in. I can't even enjoy our Thursday night movie anymore because of this. He said that I was right and promised that he won't do it again. Heck, he even promised that he won't keep his phone with him and will leave it elsewhere. This past Thursday, he came over to my place so that we could watch a new movie together. I prepared popcorn and drinks and we sat on the sofa and started watching. It was a great movie choice and I was in the mood and excited to see how events turned out. Andy's phone was in the kitchen, so I didn't have to worry when he started moving in the sofa looking uncomfortable. I kept staring at the screen and in a few minutes I heard the tick 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 keyboard sound. I turned my face and saw that Andy had my phone in his hand and was seemingly looking up spoilers for the movie. I was like, you know? What the hell did you do that for? You also took my phone. I got mad and he just kept smiling at me with his sharp teeth. He promised that he won't spoil it for me and that I can trust him this time to not say anything. I took my phone back, hoping that I'd still find out what happens in the movie on my own. He kept harassing me, asking if I wanted him to tell me what was going to happen at the end, and I said no. Minutes later, he spoke up and said, "Hey babe, I just wanted to let you know that XYZ will happen at the end." I blew up and I yelled, calling him unbearable and selfish to having ruined yet another great movie watching experience. He said that he wanted to ease my mind about the ending after seeing me so worked up like that, but I said that I was done and will be cancelling our Thursday movie night and will have a girls' night in with my girls instead. He got offended, saying that I overreacted over a movie and that he was hurt after I cancelled our special night of the week together. He left and then texted me later saying that I ruined the night and it was hard on him since this was a habit of his that's hard to get rid of, but he's trying and I'm not giving him a chance. Now he wants me to reconsider. The OP without question is not the a-hole in this situation. She asked her boyfriend on multiple occasions not to do exactly what he did, and he intentionally went against what she said and did it anyway. I must admit, I'm pretty bad when it comes to spoilers and will often look up a movie or a TV show to see what the plot is, but unless someone explicitly asks you, oh, what happens in this movie or TV show, you just keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. Just because I don't care about knowing how a movie or TV show ends doesn't mean the next person's not. And like I said, if someone explicitly says, I just want to experience the movie and not know how it ends, there is no circumstance where it's okay to go out of your way to tell them what happens. And that's going to be that for today's episode of Am I the A-hole? Just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button down below, and you will see 2 hand-selected videos on your screen right now, both of which are incredible and will cure your boredom. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for an episode of Entitled Parents. Bye.